Hi guys, welcome back. This is Tim from lithium.nl and today I'm going to show you my new lithium-ion battery for the Magcharger, and that one includes a charging chip that you have to put or connect to the charging cradle of the original Magcharger so you can charge it with your normal wall adapter or even the 12-volt car adapter. But before I'm going to show this modification, I'm also going to show you some other options that I made that you can install lithium-ion batteries in your Magcharger. First one is this cell. You're going to need two of these. This one contains a 6000 milliamps, 3.4 volts, 3.7 volts lithium-ion battery. And the special thing about this one is that it also can be charged using a normal micro USB cable. And I'll show you right now. So now it's charging, and say you're somewhere in the woods and your phone is running out of power, you can also use the same cable to charge your phone. So you remove the battery from your Magcharger, connect it to your phone, and as you can see, it's charging. You will need two of these to put in your Magcharger because this is only like half the size of the original battery. But it has its own protection board to prevent it from overcharging, over discharging, and overcurrent. So that's a nice option. Another option that I have right now is this one, and if I open this one up, you'll see that these are just two normal cells, but it also has a special charger already installed. So these are 6000 milliamp 3.7 volt batteries, and inside this part is your charger. It is a charging board and power cables with magnets, which enables you to connect them to the batteries. Make sure red is on plus and black is on minus. And the other one goes the same way, but then the other way around. And use your normal cable to connect it. And now both are charging. If I remove one, it will show you that one is full. And same with this one. So it's two power boards connected to the battery. So this way you can use your normal phone charger to charge your batteries. It will take a bit longer depending on your of the power of the adapter, but everything that you'll need is inside your Magcharger, so you don't need to bring your charging cradle if you're going on holidays. You just have some very powerful batteries, and the charging module is inside the Magcharger. Very nice, very small, and very light. Alright, let's get rid of these. Now, time for some calculations. The original battery. This is the current version that is being sold with the standard Magcharger, but also with the new LED Magcharger. That one is 3500 milliamps hour at 6 volts. And that adds up to a total of 21 watts hour, and this is a nickel metal hydride battery. The older versions, they were 22 or 2500 milliamp hour, also running at 6 volt, and that adds up to about 15 watts hour, and that was nickel cadmium. And now with the new lithium-ion battery running at 6000 milliamps hour at 7.4 volts, That's a nominal voltage, because if you charge it, it will go up to about 8.4 volts. That adds up to 44 watt-hour on lithium ion. So that's well over twice the power capacity of the original battery. But there are more advantages, because this one doesn't have the memory effect of nickel, and it is able to produce a much higher current output. But it's also a lot lighter. I'll show you, because the original battery weighs in at 410 grams, where the lithium ion battery only weighs just short of 300 grams. So that's almost 25% less weight for double the power. Right. Now I'll show you how to install the charging module in your charging cradle, because you'll be able to use the original charging adapter, 12 volt or 220 or 110 volts in outside the EU. So things that you start with is opening up the original charger. There's 4 big screws. You have to take out. You'll just need a normal Phillips screwdriver. To remove the plate. Right. Then there's a small ring, and then here's your charging PCB. This one we're gonna bypass, so first thing to do is remove it so we can solder 2 wires to it. And once you remove this one, you'll see that it will pop out, and same with the spring that pops out. The spring you need to save because you'll need it later. And then let's do it like this. So this is the entire charging PCB. There's some parts, some springs, some wires. Those are gonna be removed. And this is the modern version, because the older version, so you either have a charger like this with the round connector, or you have the old charger with the plastic white squarish connector. This is the charging part, and the inside the cradle looks the same. So you either have the thick round cable with 2 red and black wires sticking out, or you have the 2 separate cables, and one of them is a bit reddish and the other one is completely black. Anyway, we're gonna remove this cable, connect it to this one, and then put this one to these 2 springs, because these are the one that connect the power boards to the Magcharger via the charging rings on the Magcharger. As you can see, if you hold it like this, and you have black on the right and red on the left, and use a soldering iron opening, folding it a bit up, and then remove the cable. And once that's done, we're gonna put it and this cable goes here. But we're not going to put it at this exact same location. We're going to put it just behind the springs. So the springs, if you look at them on the back, you see the 2 soldering points, and that's where we're going to connect the cables to. Red goes, if you hold it like this, red goes on the left and black goes to the right. And the easier thing to make sure you get a good solder point is first put some fresh solder on these connections. And these wires will come pre-soldered, so but it wouldn't hurt putting some extra solder on there. You actually need 3 hands for this. Right. So I'll show you. You have red and black both soldered to these springs. Now you can close it up again. And now we're going to put it back into the charging cradle. But since this plate is also going on top and you don't want to squeeze any of the wires, we're going to remove it from the charging chip. Then the spring goes back in first. Doesn't matter which orientation, but just make sure that it's open up. Then put a spring in and hold it down, because otherwise it will pop out. And then this one goes back in. It's a bit of a hassle, but I'm sure you'll manage. And then make sure the wires are going into the slots that are already in the charging cradle, that they're not squeezed somewhere and they're running free. Alright, then use the right screwdriver, of course. You can put the charging board back in. And then the original cable can go back. And we'll run these 2 cables outside to this PCB. This one goes like this, but then you would squeeze the wires here and it might damage them. So put them both through the same hole. Now they're running free, they're not being squashed. All 4 cables go back. I mean, all 4 screws. And I'm just being lazy, so I'm grabbing my power tool. Alright, well, that was the difficult part. Now the easy part is connecting the PCB. I put it like this. So this here is the output, this part is the input side, and red goes again to the left, black goes to the right. So first cable goes here, close it, and the next cable. Right, and the other side is pretty much the same. Red goes to the left, black goes to the right. Right, sometimes it helps if you open up the holes a bit further with the screwdriver, and then you can stick the wires in, close it, and it's good to go. Then remove the double-sided of the layer of double-sided tape, and you can stick it to the cradle. Do some cable management and remove the cable, the loose cables. All right, so that's all there is to do. Then, if you want to connect your Magcharger to this, but before you do that, let's check if everything works. So your normal power adapter goes there. As you can see, it's now set at 9.4 volts and it's charging at 0 amps because there's no Magcharger inside. Now 9.4 volts sounds a bit much because the normal lithium-ion battery with two cells charges up to 8.4 volts. However, there's a diode in between these charging rings, and that one has a voltage drop of about 1 volt. So 8.4 volts plus 1 volt adds up to 9.4 volts. And that's the proper voltage to have set on your charging module. You can adjust the voltage with these two push buttons and a small screwdriver or a pen maybe might fit, and you can put it higher and lower. I wouldn't recommend putting it higher than 9.4 volts because you might be damaging the battery if you do that. And if you put it lower than 9.4 volts, your battery will not be fully charged. Right. So I have a battery installed in this Magcharger, and once I put it in there, you'll see that it's now charging at 0.7 amps with 8.7 volts. And the longer you wait, the higher this voltage will go and the lower the amperage will go. And at some point, when the battery is completely full, you'll see that it reaches 9.4 volts and the amperage will show 0, and that's because the PCB that's in the battery will protect the battery from overcharging and it will cut off the power. Only the charging power, because you still will be able to light your battery, light your Maglite, of course. Right. Then as for the original new Magcharger LED, that one has the same old style nickel cadmium battery, no, nickel metal hydride, and it's also capable of running with the lithium ion battery, which I have installed right here. And also this charging cradle can be adapted to run with the lithium ion battery and with the chip. If you order it for the new Magcharger, you will get this part installed as well, because this one doesn't have the extra cable anymore. This one just has the connection here. So I already started working on this one before, but I'll just show you how it's done. There are two screws that open the cradle, and then you have these two push buttons. If you push them and also squeeze them down at the same time, you'll see that the underside comes out. And like I said, I already modified this one. And this is the PCB with the chips underneath. So what you'll have to do is put a bit of solder to the end of these pins. And if you hold it like this, black goes to the left, red goes to the right. And I would recommend lining the wires up with the pins and then soldering them from underneath. Right? Then, because this one is a bit more closed off than the old charging cradle, you're going to need to drill a hole here, which is high enough so it doesn't get cut off by the insert. And then, once the hole is there, you can push the cable through. Put the PCB back in place. And then what is going to happen is the wires are going to be cut off by one of these ribs. So what I did here is I used a small plier, two small cuts here, and broke a part off, so at least there is now some space where these cables can run free without being cut off. Right, it's running free and not being squeezed anywhere. And then this part goes back. Right. Two screws go back. That's the difficult part, then connecting this one to this one. I would maybe first stick it with a double-sided tape. To there, and then again red to the left, black to the right. And what might help is opening up the holes a bit before sticking the cables in. I had some trouble before. With that part, right, giving them there, screwing them down. Checking if it's all fixed. Right, so now the Magcharger can go in. Well, first we're going to check if the voltage is right. So connect the cable nicely at 9 almost 4 volts. Connect the Magcharger and you can see it's charging now. With this one, because you didn't remove the original cable, you can still put the cable into here. I'm not sure if it's charging now, at least it won't go all the way to the right voltage, and you'll see that the screen is now blinking, indicating that the voltage is not coming from the right source. So you won't be able to charge your original battery when you have the lithium ion installed, or at least when you have this chip installed. But since this lithium ion battery is such a big improvement, I wouldn't see any reason why you would want the original battery back. So you leave this like this, keep it charging for a few hours, and when it's full you'll see the amperage going down to 0 again. Right, well, that's it. Oh no, wait, actually there's one more thing I wanted to show you. Because the battery that I showed you before, just a normal lithium ion battery, that's, well, I think already a nice version, but this is a prototype that I have, which is going to be hopefully out pretty soon. And what this one has is a USB port. This one is not for charging, only for discharging. So you can charge your phone when you're in the woods, connect it to there, and you'll see that it's nicely charging. And here you have 6,000 milliamps running at 7.4 volts. Well, that's way more than every normal battery, phone battery has. I think you can charge it at least 2 to 3 times, depending on your phone size, of course. Right.